Well, hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a Helldivers survival challenge. More specifically, an Illuminate survival challenge. Not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be a pretty short one because I am not up for it today. It's raining outside. I got a migraine. I got the shits. My balls are super itchy for some reason, and then when I go to pinch your scrotum and just sort of roll it back and forth, that's supposed to fix a problem, right? Yeah, it fixed the problem while I'm doing it, and then when I stop it, it just comes back, and it's just like, why? You're supposed to be dealt with. That's what that does. That's the thing. What fucking witch cursed me that is putting me through these issues? This ain't supposed to be happening. We're gonna be doing things a little bit different than we've done the Illuminate challenges in the past. Normally, we take a faction and see if these factions can overtake the Illuminates if the Illuminates invaded their home. We're not doing that because I don't feel like it. I don't want to. This is my channel. I do what I want. That's how it works. I personally think that by doing it that way, you forget about the people on the ground floor, the people in the gritty of it. If you're just looking at whole factions, you don't see that interpersonalness of warfare. So instead, we're gonna just not look at the governments and society and the faction and all that. We're gonna zoom in and just look at one person. How would one person do if they were just stuck in the middle of the chaos that is an alien invasion by the Illuminates? What would that be like? How would they, on an individual level, survive this situation? Is it even possible to survive a bunch of aliens that just mind fucking control and kidnap whole planets to then use them as weapons against other planets? I don't know. Let's fucking find out. But I wasted up your time. Let's... I'm telling you, man, I am not feeling good today. This is awful. I gotta take another shit. Okay, I'm back. That was upsetting. First up on the chopping block, we have the Predators, or Predators. I don't know. Multiple, one, doesn't really matter. I think it's pretty much going to be the same outcome either way. I don't think the Predators are going to do very good here, like at all. I think he's going to do really, really shitty. That's kind of going to be for 3 reasons, but mainly 2 reasons. The Predator is sort of a terrible character to even use during this kind of survivalist scenario, but he does kind of look like the type of person that would be like a really solid survivalist. The problem is that the Predators just love going and getting themselves killed. They're not that bright. I mean, they're good at hunting, sure, I guess, in some circles, but they just like don't like life all that much. If they were on some planet, doesn't matter where, and all of a sudden the Illuminates invaded, start taking over people, controlling their minds, sucking them up into big fucking like space UFO things, and then just chucking a bunch of crazy mutated zombie things on the planet, the Predator is gonna lose his fucking mind. He's gonna be like, awesome, let's go hunt all that shit and put myself in vast amounts of danger for no reason other than because I'm a predator and that's what predators do. And by doing that, they're gonna put themselves directly in line with the mind control shit that the Illuminate have. They have these big ass monoliths. I'm forgetting the names of them. I'm just gonna call them monoliths because it's basically what they are. They put down these big ass monoliths, and if you go anywhere near the monolith, gameplay is like 150 meters, but it's possibly different or larger for different monoliths. We don't know. They're capable of dominating whole planets, so I think it's a lot larger than just 150 meters. Depending on the monolith they put down, your mind starts getting fucked with, and then eventually you can be completely dominated and controlled by the Illuminate. This would not be nearly as big of a problem if the person actually cared about surviving and staying away from the monoliths, but the Predator doesn't care about surviving. The Predator cares about hunting, which will put him directly in the path of the mind control monoliths, and he doesn't have any sort of resistance to that. Now, maybe when he goes near it, he'll start realizing that his head is having some like weird head problems, and then he'll just be like, okay, maybe I should stay away from those and do my hunt on the outskirts. Possibly something like that might happen, but even if it does, I still think he's gonna be fucked. And this is because I think people are gonna say that I'm making a reach here, but I actually don't think it's much of a reach. I think it's basically impossible the Illuminates won't be able to see through all of Predator's camouflaging technology. Whether it be his ship or him personally, the Illuminates should be able to see him. Now, some people are going to argue that this is a massive assumption on my part, and there's no evidence that the Illuminates can actually see camouflage, since Super Earth can't camouflage. They don't go to war with anybody who can camouflage. Why do you think they can camouflage? And I don't really think it's an assumption. I mean, the entirety of the Illuminate fleet are all camouflaged so well to the point that they can not only not be seen by sight, but they can't be seen by any scanning technology that exists on Super Earth. None. They are impossible to find, which isn't even the case for the Predator strain of Terminator Illuminids who also have stealth capabilities, but Super Earth can actually track. So the Illuminids have very, very good stealth technology. So then you might be saying, okay, well, they have stealth technology, but just because they can do stealth doesn't mean they can see through stealth. That's an assumption. I would argue it's not. It doesn't make any sense for you to have stealth technology where you can't see your own stealth. How would an entire fleet of stealth ships be able to travel near each other or to move as a fleet if none of them can fucking see each other? What if something goes wrong? What if one of the ships break down in the middle of traveling? Would a ship behind him just ram into him and not be aware that he stopped moving? What happens if one of the ships are stolen and starts getting used by the enemy? You're telling me that the Illuminates have no way of seeing or tracking it in any way? But maybe you could say, okay, well, they don't have a way of actually seeing it through the stealth, but they have like tracking technology that's actually built into the ship. Okay, what about if, like, you know, one of the Illuminates decides to get a little buzz and then goes and parks it in the parking lot of a Denny's, and then he comes out to Denny's at 3 o'clock in the morning and he's like, shit, where did I park that thing? And then he calls his captain. He's like, Captain, hey, funny story. I went to a Denny's last night because I was talking up this super fine honey, and I left the ship parked in the parking lot and I forgot where it was. So now I can't find it because stealth technology. And the captain was like, man, you wild. That's funny. That's a good joke. That's a good joke. You fucking serious? And now you got some basic bitch Illuminate grunt and his captain walking up and down the aisles of this intergalactic Denny's looking for a fucking ship that they can't find because it's invisible. And this ain't no small parking lot. This isn't a normal Denny's. It's an intergalactic Denny's. It's got to have a parking lot suitable for the entire universe to come eat at. They're going to be walking up and down this bitch for fucking ever. My point is that it just doesn't make sense to create a stealth ship, an entire fleet of stealth ships, and not have any way to see your own ships. Even if you want to say that they have trackers on them or something, what if an engineer takes the tracker out and steals the ship? What would happen if you were to have a war if Super Earth got the ships, the stealth ships, then you had a war between two different sides of stealth ships? It would just be an invisible war on both sides? Like, it just doesn't make sense that you would have that technology and not have a way to find your own ships if they were to decide to just fall off the fucking map because they're invisible. And let's be clear, the Illuminate stealth technology is considerably better than the Predator stealth technology. While it is true that the Predator stealth technology can go on a person and the Illuminates don't put it on people, they put it on their ships, the stealth on the Illuminate ship is considerably better than what the Predators have on their person or on their ships, because you can like see that shit. You can just look at it and see it's like kind of blurry. It is specifically stated within the lore that the Illuminate ships are completely undetectable by either sight or scanners, and the Predator ships can be detected with both. You can literally just see that shit. It just kind of looks blurry up in the sky as it flies away. It's harder to see, but you could see it. So the Predator's gonna be down on this random planet doing his hunting thing. The Illuminate's gonna show up. The Predator is gonna have a fucking field day just going hunting like crazy, but a lot of the technology that he uses for his hunts will not be nearly as useful as it otherwise would be. All of his claws and blades and really even his plasma caster just isn't going to be all that impressive compared to what the Illuminates have been able to fight before. So not only will it just be a harder hunt because of the lack of weaponry, but with the fact that they could possibly mind control, with the fact that stealth technology isn't really going to work as well, and the fact that they purposefully throw themselves in danger because it's like honor or some shit. Yeah, I just don't see a situation here where the Predator is going to survive for very long at all. He's kind of fucked. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, you join the membership, you get access to all sorts of exclusive videos that no other person gets to see. So you want to be a part of the in crowd, go on and join that membership. Go ahead, man. Come on, do it. Don't be a Jew. I mean, unless you are a Jew, in which case I've got some tax issues that I'm dealing with. I might need some advice on that. Don't forget to check the pinned comment down below where you will find a link to not only my second channel, but the Discord. Go over there for all sorts of cool, fun, new stuff too. It's awesome. You can just enjoy all this stuff. It's great. I know you're tired of this. Let's get back to the video. Next up, we have Leon Kennedy from the Resident Evil series. And I think this is the part where I kind of need to specify exactly what this challenge is. Probably should have done that earlier, but whatever. It's an off day for me. One thing that's the case across the board with all of these survivors is that if the planet falls from the Illuminate invasion, then everybody loses. So I can basically just say that all of the survivors on this list fucking die. They get mind control, they die, something bad happens to them, they lose in some way. The only way that any of them can live is if the planet they're fighting on actually successfully fights off the Illuminate invasion. So for this list, we kind of have to go off of that interpretation. This video is not about if these survivors can fight off an Illuminate invasion. The planet itself is going to fight off the Illuminate invasion. All these survivors have to do is survive the chaos of that fight and all the crazy shit that goes on during. That's it. That's all they have to do. And based on that interpretation of this challenge, I think Leon has a relatively okay shot. Like, it's not a great shot, but it's more of a shot than the fucking Predator had, just solely due to the fact that Leon is going to run away from the chaos and the Predator is going to run towards it. That whole running towards it thing, that's fucking guaranteed loss. Like right out the bat, that's dumb. Don't do that. But we see Leon throughout the Resident Evil series actually has a lot of experience with dealing with situations that aren't exactly like this, but similar enough. Like he's been in situations where he was in a city and the entirety of civilization collapsed and it was just filled with a bunch of monsters that wanted to kill him. And him, by himself, had to make smart decisions to survive and get out of there alive. I mean, in Raccoon City, he literally had to leave the city before it was fucking nuked into non-existence. And that was super early series Leon. He's way more capable now than he was then. So would Leon currently be able to fight his way through an Illuminate invasion and get the fuck out of Dodge in time before whatever city he found himself in fell to the Illuminates? Like maybe he's in one of the Super Earth megacities that actually gets taken over? Because in case you don't play Helldivers, there was a whole thing where the Illuminates invaded Super Earth and they assaulted 7 cities, and out of those 7 cities, 5 of them are completely like eradicated from existence. They're not there anymore. They successfully took over and destroyed 5 cities. The other 2 survived. One of them barely survived. But if Leon was in one of those cities that fell, would he have the wherewithal and the skill and the fortitude to be able to fight his way out of it before it actually fell? And this is going to depend on a couple of factors. For one, I think you could pretty easily argue that Leon has the best guns of anyone on this list. I mean, the Resident Evil guns do just become straight up sci-fi weapons at some points, but the question about that is whether or not those crazy over-the-top sci-fi weapons that Resident Evil characters have are even considered canon. Like, for instance, if you play Resident Evil 4, which is a game that has Leon in it, one of the 3 games where Leon is like a protagonist within the game. If you bought the game for PS2, then played through the game and beat it, you got access to this really big, like, lightning gun that's also like a flashbang. It's the best gun in the game, and not just the best gun in that game, but the best gun in the game across all versions. So even though you couldn't get that gun in the GameCube version, it was still the best gun in the game, and you can only get it from the PS2 version. But is that gun even canon to Leon's shit? Because the game Resident Evil 4 is a relatively grounded game in terms of technology, other than the like specifically the virus and shit. It doesn't get too over the top. Later in the series they get kind of crazy, but at that point it's pretty, you know, it's pretty grounded. The fact that Leon can't actually get the gun in the game and has to beat the game first in order to acquire it, and in the story of the game the final boss can be defeated by a RPG-7, like just completely blown the fuck up. And in all reality, if this giant lightning gun that he gets was actually something he had, he wouldn't need the RPG-7. That might be an assumption on my part, but I'm pretty sure having the power of the skies trumps having the fucking little rocket launcher. But it's a whole plot point in the game. In fact, it's a plot point in quite a few of these Resident Evil games where the only weapon that you can use to actually effectively hurt the boss are RPG-7s. There aren't that many bosses within the Resident Evil universe that can't be blown up with a single shot from an RPG-7, despite the fact that many of the guns are considerably stronger than that. But again, I just don't know if these guns are even considered canon. Like within the canon of Resident Evil, does Leon Kennedy have access to this big ass fucking lightning gun, or does he not? Because he doesn't have it in the story, but he does have it in the game. It's a weird sort of iffy gray area situation. If we don't give him all of these crazy over the top weapons that he gets after he beats the game, and then can just go ham on everybody in the second playthrough, then he's gonna have like a lot harder of a time, because then he's just got like pistols and machine guns and grenade launchers and like your basic bullshit stuff, which is just gonna be considerably less powerful weapons than what the Helldivers have. And it's arguable if those weapons will really even be able to do all that much damage to your average Illuminate. Like, he'll be able to shoot and take out a lot of the voteless, but I think you can argue pretty easily that these weapons are gonna have a hard time getting through Illuminate shielding and Illuminate armor. Now, is this gonna be a problem for Leon? Probably. I don't think it's gonna be as big of a problem as it would for a lot of other people. I mean, if you play the original Resident Evil games, you know that the way to play that game is to try and avoid killing people, because it just eats up your resources and you need those resources for later on in the game. The idea of Resident Evil 1 and 2 is the one that Leon is actually in, is all about going back and forth through all the many areas that you're in and avoiding fighting and just trying to stay alive. In Resident Evil 2 Remake specifically, there's actually a mechanic that when you shoot a zombie and kill it, even if you do clear out an entire room of zombies, it's possible that you can come back and they can come back from the dead and cause even more problems than they already did. So even more so, that game de-incentivizes you of actually using your bullets to kill anything. You just kind of want to run away and stay alive. And that sort of mindset and gameplay style that is built directly into the Resident Evil story is probably going to be the strongest thing that Leon has to survive in this sort of situation. Now, does that mean he'll survive? I mean, he has a chance. He's still very susceptible to mind control. It's kind of a thing in the story that every single one of these characters have to be susceptible to mind control. If they're not, then a zombie thing is not going to be a threat to them if they literally can't be infected by it or can't be controlled in any way. We know that Leon can be infected and controlled. It literally happens in Resident Evil 4. He stops it before it, finishes its process, but he can be mind controlled. So it's not like he's going to be immune to the mind control powers of the Illuminates. The things that he's going to have to fight against will be in much, much larger numbers, as well as far more powerful. So while it's going to be kind of similar to things that he's had to deal with in the past, it's going to be a lot harder. While he has had to deal with large groups of zombies, he's never had to deal with literally millions in an entire city that are all just running throughout the city at super high speeds, ripping people apart with their bare hands. Like, these are whole cities that are undergoing this situation. Raccoon City's a city, but Leon's in like a very small part of it, and most of the people are dead when he gets there. The zombies are slow moving. He really never has to fight more than a handful at a time. It's a similar situation, but it's different, and I would actually say a lot easier. The events that he had to go through in Resident Evil 2, 4, and even 6 in a lot of ways is just not going to be nearly as difficult. So I think he can get through this, but it's going to be the hardest thing that he's ever had to get through before. He's going to be very, very careful. And there are a lot of things among the Illuminates that he just can't possibly beat. Like, what's he going to do if a stingray starts chasing him and firing down fucking plasma bolts from the sky? He's just going to have to run. Can he outrun it? I don't know. I give him like, I don't know, 35% chance of survival, probably. Somewhere around there. Next up on the list, we have a Rambo from the Rambo series. Rambo from Rambo. You might be rolling your eyes right now thinking, Rouga, really? Rambo over Leon Kennedy? You're just having your fandom and love of Rambo just spill out your body onto the screen. There is no way Rambo does better than Leon Kennedy. And while I will say, it is true that if these two characters got into like a shootout or a fist fight, Leon is coming out on top. I think it's a different situation if they're like a stealth battle, if you drop them both in the middle of the woods or something, be like, go kill the other person. I think Rambo's taking that. But in most situations, Leon's winning. That's not why Rambo's above Leon in this. Rambo is above Leon for two reasons. One, Rambo literally does everything he can to not get involved with situations in every single movie that he appears in. Like, literally everyone. The plot of every single movie is, hey Rambo, we need your help with this thing, can you come help us? No, I'm not gonna help you, fuck you, I don't wanna do it. They leave, they go do it themselves, they get, kidnapped, murder raped, and then some other random dude who's got nothing to do with that dude or Rambo shows up to Rambo and is like, hey, you know that dude who you refused to help? Yeah, he got kidnapped, murder raped. I'm not telling you that for any reason. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just want you to fucking feel bad because you're the reason that happened. Okay, fuck you, bye. And then Rambo's just left there having to just sit in his own guilt and misery, and he's like, fuck, okay, well, I guess I'm back in the game. Let me go save them from being kidnapped, murder raped. And boom, that's the plot of like, I don't know, 4 out of 5 of the fucking Rambo movies. So that's number one. And that is absolutely not the case for Leon Kennedy. Leon Kennedy will not be able to ignore the stuff around him necessarily in the same way that Rambo could just to survive. If he's trying to leave the city and he finds a bunch of refugees or other people that need his help, he's gonna stop and try to help them. And that will seriously hinder his ability to survive because he cares about other people. What a fucking loser. Oh man, what a fucking nerd. Rambo doesn't really work that way. He only goes out of his way to help people that he personally knows. But that's not the main reason. The main reason why he's above Leon is because Rambo doesn't live in populated areas. Ever. He's an isolationist. He's very, very isolated in literally every movie that he appears in. In the first movie, he's just some random drifter walking across the country who just winds up in some small town and then just causes problems with the local sheriff's department, and it's a department that has like 6 people in it. In the second movie, he's up on some fucking mountain somewhere with a bunch of monks just like chilling, learning about peace. In the fourth movie, he's deep in the jungle somewhere, just like a boatman who goes up and down a river, away from society. Even if you go to the 5th movie where he's finally back in the US, where he hasn't been since the first movie, he owns a farm that's just out in the middle of fucking nowhere, nobody for miles, and he's not even on the surface because they say in the movie that he spends the vast majority of his time in this intricate underground tunnel system that he built, and like he's just like by himself in the middle of nowhere, underground. Why would the aliens even go to the locations where he is? If you're invading a planet and trying to kill and dominate lots and lots of people, you're gonna go to the most populated areas. You're going to big cities. The Illuminate specifically attack 7 megacities. There's no evidence that they even go to all of these other smaller places. Now, obviously, if the megacities fall and they continue their invasion and they go and they attack all the smaller areas too, sure, I can see that. But Rambo's just gonna be out in the middle of no, I mean, shit, it is possible that the entire invasion can come and go and Rambo won't even know it fucking happened. He doesn't have a MySpace or something that he's getting all of his information from. I don't think this dude has a smartphone, and we have never at any point across the entire 5-film series seen him in a city or a highly populated area. He just doesn't do it. So even if somehow he does have to deal with Illuminates, it's gonna be a very, very small number, not a large force, and it's basically going to be a very similar story to First Blood, the first Rambo movie, except, you know, instead of police officers, it's just going to be like Illuminates, or like the Illuminate voteless people, where he's just out in the forest somewhere by himself, and then some Illuminates just wander on his location, and then he just has to deal with that shit, and then they're dead, and that's it. Like, I don't think there's going to really be much. Like, he's a ninja. If they come to where he is in his little isolated environment, he's going to fucking take them out. Even with his shittier guns and shit, and his guns, by the way, are not really shitty. I mean, he has a bow and arrow, but he straps a fucking bomb to it, and then it explodes. I feel like it's gonna do some damage. Fucking exploding arrow. It blows people apart. He has C4 and shit. He's got weapons that would do damage to Illuminate and Voteless. And he's got the stealth abilities that are superior to that of most ninjas. So yeah, if people come into his environment, he'll take them all out, and he'll go back to living his life. He'll just be like, that was kind of weird. He's not even gonna be aware that it's like a part of a massive world domination plot. He's just gonna think like, oh, I just met like there's like an alien ship showed, like one alien ship showed up. That's crazy. I'm gonna tell someone this. They won't believe me. They're never gonna believe that happened. And then, you know, years later, he finally comes into contact with somebody else, and they're like, yeah, it was way more than one ship. It was like the whole planet. Like, you super missed out. Like, I wonder how COVID was for Rambo. You know, did he just think it was a cold? Just like a regular, he wasn't even aware it was COVID. He's like, oh, it's just the flu. And then he got over it, and that was it. And he didn't know the whole fucking world lost its mind over this shit. He was just like, yeah, no, it's whatever. He probably didn't even know that he caught COVID. He just thought it was like a bug that was going around somewhere. But yeah, so I think he's gonna be okay. The only way that Rambo's gonna fall is if the planet itself falls, like the whole planet, because then they'll actually go to him and he'll see the full brunt of the invasion. But before that, he's not really like, come on, nobody's gonna go and get some hermit in the woods somewhere. They're not gonna send an entire invasion force out there for like one dude. So yeah, I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Last up, or certainly not least, we have Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series. And just to be clear, this is not reboot Lara. This is original Lara. This is pointy boob Lara. Good old-fashioned older MILF Lara. And as I say that, I realize how stupid of a pick this is. I probably should do reboot Lara, but I'm not. I'm gonna stick to my guns, because that's what they teach you, you know? You stick to your guns, you stand by your decisions. But yeah, no, this is a pretty dumb pick. Lara Croft is stupidly overpowered. I don't think people realize exactly how stupidly overpowered she is. I mean, even without all of the crazy magical artifacts that she has, she's capable of killing, like, a giant mutated T-Rex. It's not stated to be a mutated T-Rex. It's just supposed to be a normal T-Rex. But this is way bigger than a T-Rex should be. Like, considerably bigger than a normal T-Rex should be. I don't think that's a normal T-Rex. This bitch killed a fucking massive mutated T-Rex. She is considerably stronger than any normal human can be. She has mastery in just about every physical thing that you can have mastery in. From gymnastics to hand-to-hand combat to marksmanship to stealth to climbing to whatever. She is the fucking, what is it, Renaissance man? Is that what it is when you like have all these different skills? Renaissance woman. Literally anything that you need a main character to be able to do, she can do it, even like hacking skills and shit. You wouldn't think that on top of being an archaeologist, and a master soldier, and a master ninja, and a master medic, and a historian, and all this other stuff on top of it all, she would also be a master hacker and sexy nerd. I'd like to raid her tomb, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, look, everyone's made that joke. I can't get through an entire video talking about Lara Croft and not make that joke. It's like tradition at this point. But even aside from all those crazy knowledges and skills and physical superiority that she has, she also has a large list of different artifacts that give her all kinds of different crazy abilities and powers. She can steal the life force from people that she fights against. I don't think that the Illuminate shielding is going to defend against having their life force ripped out of their fucking body. She's got this thing called a Dagger of Xian. If it's Chinese, it's got like an X and an I. That's she, right? It's like, it's not Xian, it's Xian and whatever. She's got this ancient Chinese dagger that allows her to stab herself and turn herself into a massive all-powerful dragon, as well as command an army of ancient Chinese soldiers who are immune to any form of death. Yes, this is something that she can do, and it kind of breaks the challenge of being like a survivalist. When you have the ability to turn into a dragon and summon an army of the undead, I feel like you're no longer in that like survivalist category, you know? Like Rick Grimes and her are not equal. These are two very different types of characters. Even the Illuminate mind control isn't gonna do shit to her because she is specifically stated to have an indomitable will to such a degree that actual mind control that exists within the Tomb Raider universe has not been able to affect her. She just ignores that shit like it's not even there. Now, is it possible that someone on the Illuminates can just shoot her, kill her, rip her apart? Yeah, I mean, she's not immortal. It's not like she's incapable of death. It's just, I mean, like if a normal dude can run through the city and survive and kind of try and survive and get out of the city in time, if even one person was able to succeed doing it, then I think the odds that Lara can't do it basically become like zero. As compared to literally everyone on this list, she has more powers, she's faster, she's stronger, she's more skilled in almost every single category because all of her skills are basically superhuman. She's far more intelligent, she somehow has more experience despite the fact that, like, Rambo's like 70 at this point. She's just kind of perfect in every way. And this actually tells you a lot about how society has changed over the last couple decades. We would call Lara Croft today a Mary Sue. But when that game came out, nobody gave a shit about characters being Mary Sues as long as they were likable. I actually have a pretty strong theory that people don't actually mind Mary Sues and characters that are just ridiculously overly powerful and are great at everything, as long as those characters are likable. I think you can make a really strong argument that if you go back into the 90s and the 80s and looked at a lot of those action movies, a lot of them were Mary Sues or Gary Stews or whatever, and nobody really gave a shit. I think the issue with the whole Mary Sue thing is that they're just fucking I don't like any of these people. You're not drawing me in with their personalities and their story enough for me to look past the fact that they're perfect at everything and they're undeserving of their role. Because if I like them and think that they're genuinely awesome people, I would see them as deserving said role and I wouldn't be bitching about it. So, you know, just make them fucking likable. How the fuck did this become about Mary Sue's? Whatever. She fucking wins. There's a chance she might possibly get killed, but I think there's a far better chance that she's not gonna get killed. Like a 15% chance she dies, and like an 85% chance that she doesn't die. That's what I'm gonna go with. But that's gonna be all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, if you join the membership, you get access to all sorts of crazy, unique videos that other people don't see. You can hold it up on their head. They're like, ha, loser, you haven't seen that? Fuck you. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?